We heard you. 9 years of Bring Back the Snack Wrap, and you've won. But maybe you should have asked for more. Say hello to the Hot Honey Snack Wrap. Now you've really won. Go to McDonald's and get it while you can.
Shop with Rakuten and you'll get it. What's it? It's the real deal. Cash back and savings on almost everything you buy. Join Rakuten and start getting cash back at CVS, Instacart, YSL Beauty, and other stores you love. You can even stack sales on top of cash back. Just start shopping with Rakuten to save money and get that cash back feeling. Join for free at Rakuten.com or get the free Rakuten app. That's RAKUTEN, Rakuten.com.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because, let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
The Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 141 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied by co-host Nick and producer Vince. Now, every week I like to say it was a wild week in the NHL, but this was a really wild week in the NHL. We've had a Stadium Series game. We've had a goalie fight. We've had
a trade.
A trade. We've had a goalie be helped off the ice after a shootout win. We've had Panarin being out until he's traded, basically, which could be until after the Olympics. So much to talk about. We have the Colorado Avalanche looking like a regular NHL team, getting 2 beatdowns in Eastern Conference. So there's so much to talk about. But before we get to that, I want to remind everyone they can follow along on our social media accounts, Instagram, X, TikTok at Partial Break Pod. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We're currently at 194 subscribers. We're missing 6 before Nick goes streaking. So please, I encourage you, let's get that to 200.
We got to 200. Nick goes streaking around the block.
Tell you what, if we get 6 by tonight, I'm doing it. But nobody's going to listen to this until tomorrow, so it doesn't matter.
I'll
6 more tonight. Publish it immediately.
Take it for the team, Nick.
Oh man, guys, I hope you had a good week. It was fun. I've been kind of actually following along with the NHL a lot this week. Also the NFL coaching carousel a lot this week. So a lot of my commentary was on NFL this week. But this is a fantasy hockey podcast, and we are here to talk everything fantasy with you guys. So I mean, what's more fantasy relevant than like a Stadium Series that you don't know about until today, and a goalie fight that you don't know about today, you know? So that's what we're starting with, okay, guys? I didn't write the prod sheet. The prod sheet was given to me, but today we're talking about a goalie fight that happened between Swayman and Vasilevsky. Maybe I should start the odd man rush.
Oh, yeah.
Odd man rush.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So as I mentioned before in the preview, we will be talking about the Stadium Series in Tampa Bay with a goalie fight between Swayman and Vasilevsky. Junior, can you explain to me what exactly is a Stadium Series? Why is it in Tampa? And why should we care?
Well, this is the coldest temperature Tampa has ever had, I believe, and it just happens to be during an outdoor game. So the weather worked out perfectly. In fact, they're actually heating up the ice in between periods to make sure that it doesn't get too damaged. We care,
Really?
yeah. We care also because I think Kucherov has like 5 points and 5 goals. It's 5-5 as we speak in overtime. So
Great
we
game.
care because there's 10 goals in this game. So the goalies don't look good. They both look good in the fight, but they didn't look good in the net.
I don't know if they both
Um,
look good in the fight. I think Vasilevsky looked a little better.
yeah, they're saying that Swayman was like a bit caught off guard seeing seeing Vasilevsky be a lefty, but yeah,
I was caught off guard. He's just wailing with his left hand. I'm like, if I try hitting with my left hand, I'm gonna hit myself in the face. That's how uncoordinated I am with my left. So I was impressed.
I actually thought it was really cool. Tampa walked in Tampa Bay Buccaneers outfits, literally
Yeah.
football uniforms with their numbers on it, and Mayfield and another player, I think Wirfs, the offensive lineman. I
Hmm.
think they were like welcoming them in there. That was pretty cool. And John Cooper is dressed as Tony Montana. It's all
But look,
fun. Like it's fun. It's fun.
It's
It's
fun,
nice.
yeah.
Boston was winning 5-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. That was a great segue there, Vince, for not.
Just saying.
Uh, actually, so Vasilevsky has had a very good run in his last 10 games up until this point. So right now, it was his first time he's let in more than 2 goals in his last 10 starts. Like Vince, we've already spoken about it, but like, is it a foregone conclusion right now that Vasilevsky is going to be maybe not only a finalist for the Vezina, but are we talking about the best goalie of the year this year?
I think it's still early for the best goalie of the year, but he's definitely up there. Right now, he is probably the best goalie in the NHL, but it always also corresponds with his team getting healthy and playing well. I mean, Tampa, I think at the beginning of the season was way down in the Eastern Conference standings, and now all of a sudden they're back up there. All the players are healthy, and I mean, well, in the last 10 games, I think he allowed 1 or 2 goals, not more than 2 goals. So he's on a hot streak, and the best thing for Tampa is that once the Olympics starts, it's 2 weeks off for him because Russia is not in the Olympics, so it'll be even better once they come back. So uh,
You know,
it,
a
it'll be
very
good
good
for him.
point. I wanted to add to that because I don't know how Tampa's doing it, but they always find like these players out of nowhere, it seems, that just like Jack Finley or Dominic James, like these players that just come in and fill a role.
Mm.
Darren Radish is somebody that has come in and filled the headman role on at least on the power play he has, um, and it's kind of interesting. Like when they come back, they're only getting stronger from the break because Braden Point should be back around that time after the Olympic break as well. You know, so
Nick, has he been confirmed not going to the Olympics?
yeah, I don't think he's going to the Olympics. I was
Braden Point,
reading, yeah,
but they haven't
They
picked a
haven't announced
replacement
it
yet,
yet. Yeah.
right?
no, I don't think he's going though. But yeah, they haven't announced anything that I've seen. But hopefully he's going to be back at least after the Olympics and back on this team because, but they haven't really missed a beat. So I don't know if
Yeah.
I mean hopefully for fantasy managers, that's what I mean. You know that
They're
own
well
him.
positioned too because they have like they're in first place in the Atlantic and they have like a 4 games in hand. So give that like that plus the fact that most of their guys will be rested, like Kuch, Vasilevsky in particular, Braden Point if he doesn't go. So yeah, they're looking good, man.
Well, okay, so just to flip it over to Boston a little bit, um, and somehow tie in Toronto in this. Like Boston made a trade with Toronto in order to get rid of Brandon Carlo, right? And so they gave Brandon Carlo to Toronto. Toronto acquired Brandon Carlo. They got a first round pick that's top 5 protected. Boston did, and they got Fraser Minten as well. And there's also a fourth round pick, I believe, that they got, but who's actually doing really well as well. I was listening to Steve Dangle rant about it. But Fraser Minten like we were told, and the way that my outlook was for Fraser Minten was that this guy is going to be a third liner, and I think that's his upside. Like he'll be like a good bottom six player, but it's looking more and more like he was the rookie of the month in the NHL this week. Like, do we see his fantasy outlook as maybe underestimated? Like, should we be putting a little bit more respect in Fraser Minton's name, Vince?
Um, I think he's in the conversation, but I don't think it's something that. I mean, it's 29 points in 55 games. Fantasy wise, it's okay, but the good thing is he's 21 years old, so there's always an improvement there's an improvement in his game, which means at some point he could be in that conversation of drafting Mittens and putting him in your starting lineup. But for now, it's more of a keep an eye and see how it goes. And if you are a manager that owns Mittens, well, this is the reason you kind of hold on to him right now and see where this can go.
I love that Vince is calling him Mittens instead of Minton.
Mittens, Mittens.
It's I feel like it's a cat that we're talking about here, but
Once he
anyways,
once he gets more points, I'll call him his real name. But right now he's Mittens.
Mittens. Junior, talk to me about Mittens.
Uh, okay, so
We're
no,
off the
like
rails.
we just started. Um, I like his progress. I have to say, like last year, he split time between Toronto and Boston. Not easy when you get traded and stuff like that. He had 5 points in 21 games last year, not great. But this year's, like Vince said, he's pacing for 42, and I almost consider him a rookie at this point still. Actually, he is a rookie. He won Rookie of the Month. So pacing for 40 points in a rookie year, we always say is a good season for a rookie. So if that's the starting point, I think he's trending towards a middle six guy instead of a bottom six guy. And he's on a team that's gonna give him a lot of opportunity because they don't have great prospects that are upcoming,
Yeah,
other than James Higgins.
just to bring it back to the analytics and the stats a little bit, like he has 42-point pace right now, but that's with 14 minutes of ice time, right? You
Hmm.
add if you put him into a top six role, let's say, right? He'll get more on the maybe 16 minutes of ice time. That those 2 minutes could make a difference between 42 points and 55 points, let's say, right? During an entire year. So there's an opportunity here, and especially he's not even in his prime yet. So there's an opportunity here for him to become fantasy relevant. I don't know if he's going to be a star player, but at least somebody to keep on your watch list.
He's
Still
an
very
NHLer
young.
for sure. He's,
Yeah,
he's
he's still a
definitely
very
an
young
NHLer.
NHLer.
His shooting percentage is a little high, 18.9, but again, it's his rookie
Yeah,
year.
yeah. I
Would you
mean,
rather
look,
have would you rather have him or Brandon Carlo on your team?
Oh,
well, would you rather have a first round pick that looks like it's going to be top 10 and Mittens, or Brandon Carlo? That's the question.
guys, let's be
Yeah.
honest. At this point, it might be a top five pick. They're gonna do everything they can to be a top five pick, so they retain their pick. But
Well, we'll see.
we'll see.
We'll see. That there's a lot more that
Yeah,
comes into it. There's
I
a lot
think
of
the only
other
way.
teams that are there.
Yeah, I think the only way to get that is if they get lucky in the lottery. That's it.
Talking about very young teams, though, the Islanders tried to raise their average age by acquiring Andre Palat, and they acquired a third round pick from New Jersey. So Palat, a third and a sixth, in exchange for a player that was healthy scratched a little bit too much, and a fourth liner in Maxim Siplakov, right? So, I mean, Palat is 37 years old. I don't see Palat being necessarily the savior, but he's a good vet to
He's
have.
how old?
Um,
He's 34.
oh,
You
35. Okay,
said
yeah. I said
37.
37. Sorry, I was a little
Oh
bit
man.
off. But he's old for a hockey player. And he has had 11 points in his last 51 games. So let's not call him great here. But you know, a veteran coming in, like, does that help? I mean, I feel it helps the Islanders, but I don't know, Junior. What do you think that this is gives for an outlook for Palat and the Islanders?
I just find this kind of a profile, these kind of players that you say, oh, they're old, they're washed, they end up going to the Islanders and they end up performing. I look at guys like Palmieri, Anders Lee. Like these guys are all getting up there in age, but find ways to keep producing. Meanwhile, young guys that like Duclair, that you think is going to go to the Islanders and shine, they're the ones who struggle actually performing. So, you got 2 points in his first game with the Islanders, 2 points in 3 games total since he's been there. His ice time right now is at 17 minutes. His last game was 17 minutes. He's getting power play 2 time. I think the deployment's going to be there. I think there's a chance this guy could be a plug and play when the Islanders have favorable schedules.
Okay, but I mean, as fantasy managers, we want to know, like, does this guy give any value? Is he deployed in the top six? Is he playing? Is he gonna make other people better maybe around him? Like, I don't know. What do you think, Vince?
He's on the power play. I think he's on PP1 or PP2. I think it's PP2 if I'm not mistaken right now.
He's on the first line with Horvat and Heineman.
Yeah, they're
As
trying to find some chemistry with. I mean, we've seen Palat when he plays with players, really good players around him, what he can do. I think he's past the age where he can do what he was doing in Ottawa. But I think this is a good fit for him, especially for such a young team like the Islanders to bring in more experienced player who's been in the playoffs and gone far in the playoffs. So I would still consider him a streamer. Like I wouldn't be
yeah,
shy to pick him up if Tampa has a really good schedule during a week during 1 week. I wouldn't mind just picking him up because he's getting. It looks like he's getting the top six minutes, and he's getting the power play minutes for sure because I think he scored one of his goals on the power play. So I'm trying to get their lineup just to see. But yeah, so
yeah. He's on.
I
Sorry, Vince. It's just he's on power play. Technically, on daily faceoff, he's on power play too. But I'm pretty sure
mm,
that's their first power play unit because it has Schaefer, Horvat, and Heineman and Holmstrom. So I would say he's number one power play and number one line right now.
so he
Yeah,
could be easily a good pickup waiver wire or a streamer just to keep an eye after the Olympics.
yeah. I mean, that's a good point, Vince. Like, if he has the deployment, and we say it all the time, right? You need deployment, which is opportunity, and you need skill, and you need to be available. So right now, he's getting the deployment for sure. I mean, it kind of feels like Matthew Darsh has a lot of familiarity with him since his days in the Ireland. Sorry, the island. Since his days with Tampa Bay.
Hmm.
So he's bringing him in as a veteran. He's gonna, not a bad veteran to bring in. To be honest with you, not
No,
very high points percentage, but still pretty good. Um, this is a little bit of sad news here, but like if you guys know what DEFCON is, there's DEFCON 5, which is extremely really bad and really concerning, and there's DEFCON 1, which is not concerning at all. Like I'm at DEFCON 4 right now for Demko because he was injured, he came back, they gave him a contract. We're like finally he's back up and running again, and now he's out for the year again in Vancouver. Like I don't know how do you have faith that this guy is not going to get out of being a papier mache type player? How do you like loose leaf paper? Unfortunately for him, but it looks like his career might be in jeopardy if it continues like this. Anyways, Vince.
yeah, he's not dependable fantasy wise anymore. I mean, if you have him, you offload him because especially if you're in a salary cap league, you offload him because first thing, Vancouver will not be very good in the next 3 to 5 years, and he's always injured, and it's my main concern with Demko is that it was the knee, now it's the hip, now like it's all his lower body that's giving out on him, which is the most important part for goalies. So to me, he's Deadcom 5 for me. Like I know we have him in the DPR league, but I definitely would offload him and see what I can get because I don't believe he's gonna hit that level goaltending anymore.
Well, I don't think you're going to get anything right now for him, especially if you tell people that it's DEFCON 5. But Junior, um, any hope? Any?
No, I was already out on him. I was already fading him from the beginning of the season. I mean, if the listeners go back to our team previews, they'll know I was already fading him. You guys still had hope. You were willing to take the chance. He was so good, and when he plays, he is good. But
Yeah.
he's gonna finish the season with 20 games played this year. Last year, he finished the season with 23 games played. The season before that was 51, and the season before that was 32. That's not reliable. So, from a fantasy perspective, you got to cut the cord. What you can do is, if he's having a good season and he's healthy, and you need goalies, like you go trade for him at that point. You spend assets to go get him for that year that he's actually doing well. But to keep him and wait for it, man, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. When we had Devil State of Mind on the podcast, it is
Neil.
Neil from Devil State of Mind. Um, he spoke to us about Jack Hughes and how he is a loose leaf paper player. He didn't say those terms; those are our terms, but he did mention that he always gets injured, and a lot of it has to do with he doesn't avoid hits, he doesn't skate, he doesn't protect himself very well on the ice, um, and he looks like he's out again. Do you have any news on this for our listeners, Junior?
He's day to day. That's as far as they said, so they don't think it's going to be too serious. I don't think his Olympics are in jeopardy. But again, he's played 36 out of 55 games already this year. He's already missed 19 games or so, almost 20 games. So again, at where he was being drafted, for me, he was a fade because in that area there was players that can do what we expected him to do, and I'd rather take my chance on that than a guy that clearly has shown can play 82 games. He's averaged 20 games missed in the last 2 years, and this is going to be the third consecutive year he misses 20 plus games. That's not reliable for a guy you want to draft that high in fantasy. Can't do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Um, all right. This is another young player. Unfortunately, he's starting to get the rap that he might be loose leaf paper as well. And it's funny because I traded him for another loose leaf paper in in LPHL. It was 1-for-1. Robert Thomas and Hintz. Hintz has been healthy since then, by the way. Not
Yeah,
Robert
he has
Thomas.
actually.
Robert Thomas undergoes a knee procedure. He's out until after the Olympics. Well, there's a couple of questions here. So we know St. Louis has been possibly shopping him, although the asking price is extremely high right now, and it should be because this guy could be like a very, very good number two center, or he could even play number one center for certain teams. Um, Robert Thomas, is it time for you to buy him in fantasy? Like, should you go out there and try to get a frustrated owner and buy Robert Thomas, Vince?
Yeah, anytime you can get a Robert, like I wouldn't be worried about this injury. I think this procedure is just being done to help them if they're actually considering trading him, so that they don't get any low balls off or saying, "Well, look, he's got to get surgery" or stuff like that. But if you're a GM and there's someone who's shopping Robert Thomas right now, I would look at my team and go for him. My only issue with Robert Thomas in fantasy wise is, to me, I don't believe he scores enough goals. And because goals are more important in the fantasy league, uh, I think that's his only downside is he doesn't score enough goals. So you got to make sure he's not your number one centerman. He should be your number two or number three centerman on your team for him to be useful. But in the NHL, I mean, with his age and his talent, I definitely take a run at him. It's just, are you willing, like Nick said, are you willing to pay the price, which is like reasonable, not reasonable, which is whatever they're demanding. They're supposed to be demanding that because he's still in the youth of his career. Basically, he still hasn't hit his prime. So, uh, fantasy wise, like I said, I would go after him, but I'd just be cautious that he's not your number one centerman because to me, goal scoring is a lot more important.
Junior?
Yeah, I think he could be a 25 goal scorer, but again, he hasn't proven to do it consistently yet. To Vince's point, when he shoots twice a game, he can get there. And now this year, his shooting dipped to 1.4 per game as opposed to 2.1, and that leads to a regression, of course. Add the injuries on top of that. But yeah, I mean, so how can I put this? For instance, Nick, if you own him, right? So if you were a little closer to maybe finishing second or first, this might be a candidate that maybe you might trade to help get a piece of equal value, but you might lose him at his lower value to gain something now, right? And I think that's the opportunity you kind of have to look for in fantasy, a GM like that. Or if you're a team from the bottom, you kind of go see what you can get for him as well.
All right, that's fair. I'm actually
You,
very curious to see if he gets traded in real life because in the actual NHL, if he goes to a team that's not St. Louis, I think his value freaking skyrockets, even if he doesn't play as many minutes on that team.
so
Um,
would you hold off in fantasy until we know what this future looks like?
well, look, right now in LPHL, I'm about 100 points back, and I'm in fifth place, but I'm 100 points back of first. Um, and I would hold off. I just want to see how this, although it might be an off-season trade, right? The way it's going.
Mm,
But if you like you said, if I was in second place and I was only 50 points back, and now it's the time to make a move, and Robert Thomas is hurting me, yeah, I could see your point. Maybe trade him away now to go for that championship, but there's no guarantees.
right.
So when you trade away Robert Thomas, and you're trying to win, and it's gonna hurt if the guy you get back is not as good as Robert Thomas, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Um, okay, next, talking about my team, one of the returnees is actually William Nylander. It looks like all he needed to do was give the finger to Leaf fans in order to. Okay, he gave a finger to the
Flip,
camera.
flip
He
the
flipped the
bird.
bird. Flipped the bird to the camera, and all of a sudden he was healed again and back on the ice. Um, Also returning is Troy Terry. Vladar is back, and Allmark actually came back and had a great game for Ottawa. After all that commentary that Junior gave him, it looks like he came back on fire and proved Junior that he's still relevant. Um, us start with Junior because I want to get your thoughts on the person you made fun of the most, which is Allmark.
I mean, he came out. He had a nice interview with, I believe it was TSN, stating how everything that went down and how tough it was for him and stuff. So credit to him that he was able to bounce back, that he was able to feel confident and comfortable enough to talk about his mental health. Again, like we speculate based off things, but we never want to put anyone down to that extent. So if I offended anyone, I apologize for that. But I'm happy to see him back. I think it's welcome news to the Ottawa Senators who are desperate for goaltending, any type of decent goaltending, and they seem to have got it in his what 1 or 2 games back, 2 games back, no 1 game. So he had 27 saves, 1 goal against. Excellent, excellent outing versus the New Jersey Devils. Exactly what the Ottawa Senators need. I just don't know what the rest of the season holds for him or the Ottawa Senators. I have a hard time gauging what that looks like. So I'm currently, I don't know, I'm staying away from this situation, so to speak, from a fantasy perspective.
Vince, can you tell us anything about either Nylander, Terry, or Vladar, who have recently returned from injuries that you would comment on?
Listen, Nylander, he's getting a lot of hate, but he's been Toronto's best player this year. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that's been better than him point wise. So I
Vince,
think
I
he's
saw a
getting.
stat that said Nylander missed like 17 games and he still
Yeah,
has
and
the most points on the
he
Leafs.
still leads the Leafs in scoring, which is crazy. So I mean, I think the whole Nyland thing is just people just being too uptight about it. Um, Troy Terry, Anaheim welcomes him back with all the injuries they've gotten with Leo Carlson. Troy Terry was out for a while. It's good news that he's coming back. They are fighting for a playoff spot, so I mean, he is a top six forward. Was having a decent season, so it's a breath of fresh air that he's back. And as for Vladar, I mean, Philly's not really relevant right now. I think I don't see like the East is so tight, but I don't see them being one of the teams that's going to get a chance to make that wild card spot. So I mean, for him, it's important for him to come back and prove that he can be a number one goalie, like he's done this year. But fantasy wise, I don't think there's any relevance of Vladar coming back.
All right.
It's interesting though of Vladar because, like you touched on it, he is having a great season. He has 903 save percentage, 2.5 goals against average, and we'll talk about it later. But I like him this week for PBLL, especially at 3.4 million in salary.
That's a good point. It's a very good point, actually. I had mentioned Vladar is actually doing very well in one of my leagues, just as a waiver wire pickup, right? Pick him up, see what he's doing. Like Philadelphia this week is playing the Capitals and Ottawa, so I don't know if this is the week you kind of want to go out there and pick him up on waiver wire, but he's been doing pretty well. Talking about Philadelphia, professional segues here, guys. One
Look
after
at that,
another.
man!
Professional
We're on
segues.
fire today.
I love it. I love
We're
it.
about to fall asleep, but we're on fire.
Who's gonna fall asleep? You're gonna fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm a little tired. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, you had a. I mean, you did have a party
Yeah.
tonight, a Christmas
Oh
party
yeah, Christmas party. That was
on
very
February
exciting.
1st. Love it, love it. When your wife was there too, I heard she was
Yeah,
quite the riot.
yeah. And so was your wife, Nick.
Uh,
Are we still talking about a Christmas party here? Or?
yeah, it was still a Christmas party. So Michkov has a career low 10 minutes and 21 seconds on Saturday night. I don't know what to think about this guy anymore because you know what? We're we heard a lot of, being from Montreal, we kind of heard a lot of the rumors of, how Kent Hughes didn't want Michkov because of certain reasons. And not that it came out that it's character concerns, but it seems that that's kind of what they were hinting at. And now you have a hard-nosed coach in Rick Tocchet, who's no BS coach. He's playing Michkov 10 minutes and 21 seconds. Is this injury related or is this attitude related? Is it performance related? Junior, what can you tell me about Michkov and like how should people think about him?
I don't want to say it's attitude related, maybe to a certain extent. I think it's just a work ethic, maybe, or committing to the game plan, to the structure, the system that the Flyers want to play. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's definitely concerning. And the fact that Briere thought it would be a good match to have Tocchet and Michkov, knowing everything we know about Michkov, like we knew a lot of these things before he was drafted. Some of us didn't want to believe it, but it was out there. So how many times do we say where there's smoke, there's some kind of fire? We knew that Michkov came with baggage, and then you were getting a hard-nosed coach like Tocchet, like 10-21, 12-49. Prior to that, he was hitting the 15, 16, but like his ice time is and deployment is so inconsistent that until that's sorted out, I can't even see myself starting this guy. It's concerning.
Well, to be fair, you're not going to get a coach just for one player, right? And also on top of it, you're not only going to not get a coach for one player, but if this guy is already showing concerning signs about discipline, maybe you do want a disciplined, hard-nosed coach to come and set him straight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that as
I
being
meant it
Briere
more like
choosing
no,
the
but I
wrong
meant more
coach.
like the system too maybe doesn't suit him as well. Like they invested big time draft capital on this guy. What was it, seventh overall?
I still
That's a
find it odd though to say that like okay yes they invested a draft capital in a player, but now all the other players need to play like Michkov or have a system that's different for them just because Michkov is there. I don't find that's very accurate in thought process
but
for a team. I'm saying right.
if you're a rebuilding team, if you're a rebuilding team,
Then you'll have a bunch of
which Flyers should be, and
yeah.
your most prominent prospect prior to this last draft was Michkov. You drafted him to restart your rebuild or retool, whatever you want to call it. You kind of have to find a way to make it work. Maybe Tocchet wasn't that guy. I think his problems they lie further away than just the coach. I think the problem is way bigger than that, but I think that doesn't help at all either. And now he has no trade value. Like he doesn't have as big of a trade value. So what do you do? What are you supposed to do? Just rot him on the bench?
No, I think maybe you rot him on the bench until he starts playing the way you want him to. Like, it is what it is. It's you're not talking about a quarterback
Nick,
in the
okay.
NFL that's a rushing quarterback and you're trying to make him a pocket passer.
Uh,
We're talking about an entire team here that plays, and you can't just change your whole concept of what you want to be just because Michkov is there. And you know what? What if he is a bust? You just hired all these coaches and all this staff to play a certain way for this guy, and he ends up being a bust in the end. I'm not saying he's a bust, by the way. Please don't, Philadelphia fans, please don't come at me.
We can't afford
I'm just arguing with Junior here.
Yeah.
We can't afford it because we paid a lot to get him.
But Nick, the question is, I wasn't a fan of Rick Tocchet from the beginning. I feel he's overrated as a coach. I mean, his winning record with Arizona was under 500. Vancouver for 3 years, he had a .608. Then, he didn't. To me, he was an overrated coach. Now you're saying people won't change the way they play because of one player. There's one team that did it, the Washington Capitals. When Ovechkin came,
No.
they built their system around Ovechkin. You can't say
and they
they
didn't win
build.
shit. And
No,
that's why they had to go out later in Ovechkin's career
but
and hire a defensive-minded coach that forced, in Barry Trotz, by the way, that forced Ovechkin to start playing a different style of game in his 30s in order to win a cup.
they
So,
still didn't win when Trotz was there.
yeah,
They
they
won
won.
not with
They
Trotz.
won when, yes, that Barry Trotz was the
No,
one that got them
but
to win,
but they still
right?
modified their.
Now I'm starting to
Was it?
hold on.
I'll check.
Yes, I'm pretty
check.
sure.
But my thing
I
is,
remember him picking up the cup with them.
they
I think you're right,
adapted.
though.
They
I'm
adapted
always
the
right.
season. They adapted their team around Ovechkin. They built around Ovechkin. They knew
And they
Ovechkin was going to be
sucked.
the player. Watch it.
And they
sucked. They
sucked.
I think they made the playoffs every day. They won
They
the
were
President's Cup
eliminated
like
first
3
round
times.
every year.
I'm not talking
Every
about
year.
Nick. I'm not talking about
It was
playoffs.
Barry Trotz confirmed.
I'm not
Of
talking about
course it
playoffs. I'm
was.
talking about season wise. He was there, and that's how you knew Ovechkin was there. You're not even giving Michkov a chance to prove whether he belongs in the NHL or not right now.
Guys, you can't do this. You can't take a 19-year-old player
I-
and
so you-
and say that. First of all, you're talking about Ovechkin, like totally two
Mm,
different experiences, totally two different types of players. And on top of it, I don't think anything you said there is true. I don't think they brought in a system for Ovechkin to play the Ovechkin style. I don't think that's true at all. They were very offensive before. They didn't win the cup, and they were not doing well in the playoffs when they were offensive only. And Barry Trotz taught them how to play a totally different way to make it work. So I don't think any of that is accurate.
Their power play is literally their power play for 20 years was literally based around Ovechkin. He was in his
Their power
office.
play
They called
hasn't.
it in his office, but they
Yeah,
called
that's
it in
not
his
a
office.
way that. That's not
I
because
understand.
of.
So you're saying
They
staple
didn't
a
get a
19
coach that said, "I want you as a coach to build a system where Ovechkin on the power play."
benefits of
Every coach put him on the power play all the time. That's not building a team around Ovechkin. That's not
okay.
I'm not saying building a team. That's not changing the way you play because of Ovechkin.
But
Like
you have to
that's just
find a
you
way.
have Ovechkin, so you put him out there all the time on the power play because he's proved that he could score all the
Yeah, but
time.
you have to find a way. So you're saying stapling your 19-year-old player that you put so much into is the way to go?
Dude, he showed up out of shape. Okay,
Nick,
from preseason, he shows up out of shape.
you're
okay?
being TMZ now.
No,
You're being
it's not.
TMZ. Yeah,
We
because
know
No,
it's
it was said. Talk
it's
it.
it was
said.
set,
It's said.
yes
Talk
at
it,
the
he said
beginning. Now it's 42. It's 42 games in. You can't tell me he's being
Okay,
he's
but
being stapled on the
I'm
bench.
bringing you back to the
because-
beginning of the year. Okay, so when we're talking about issues with Michkov, he shows up out of shape. Okay, he gets into a verbal spat with his coach. Right? Like, am I saying anything that's wrong here so far? No. So, and he's having a shit year. He hasn't been performing. So you're telling me that we shouldn't have hired Tocchet because Michkov should have an offensive coach that taps his ass and says, "Good job, little boy," all the time in order for him to perform. Like, this is not a professional podcast. If you're telling me that that's the way it should be, like, I
Nick,
don't understand you
you
guys.
It
just
is
at
not a
the beginning,
professional podcast.
at the beginning, you just said just
Point.
said if a player plays 2 minutes extra, it could bring him from 45 points to 55 points. Yes or no?
Yes, yes, of course.
So you're not competing for the playoffs. Your team is shit.
They were actually competing for the playoffs.
Nick, I look at the
at the
standing. They're
beginning
not.
of the year.
Yes, but their team
Now,
is shit. Yeah, now that they're not competing, he's playing 10 minutes and 43 seconds. Come on. This is Tocchet being high pride, thinking that he can make Michkov into a two-way player. You're not making Michkov into a two-way player. Michkov is going to be your offensive player. Ovechkin was never the best two-way player. Even under Trotz, he wasn't the best two-way player. But he surrounded him with players that were two-way players, like a Backstrom. So surround the kid properly, and the kid might perform, and he might make mistakes, but he might perform. St. Louis, what is he doing with Hutson? Hutson is performing because St. Louis knows Hutson offensively is a dynamic. But is
Yeah,
Hudson
but-
playing on?
But
But is
hold
Hudson
on,
playing?
I'm
Wait,
gonna
is
interfere.
Hudson playing?
I
Is
don't
Hudson
think
playing?
that's a good
Is
point.
Hudson playing shorthanded?
No,
That doesn't make him a two-way
No.
player because he
that
plays
doesn't make him.
shorthanded.
Yeah, he's not a two-way
What do you
player
mean?
at all.
It's not two-way player is 5-on-5. You need to be a two-way player. Shorthanded doesn't matter.
Yeah, but shorthanded, and the last 2 minutes, Hudson's not on the ice when they're in the lead.
Sometimes he's
Which-
on the ice for the last 2
Yeah,
minutes.
sometimes
But,
he is.
but what I want to
Who
say
is
is
his
that
go-to guy?
the difference between the two is Hudson is engaged when he's playing. Hudson's putting in the effort. Hudson's
Yeah.
going all out
I'm-
every
I'm-
single shift.
I'm-
Mishkov is
but
not, and that's what's
I'm not-
worrying.
But I'm
It's,
not.
it's
I'm
like
not,
you're rewarding a
I'm-
player for being lazy. It's like
I'm
saying
not. I'm not
it's like-
comparing.
it's like
I'm
saying
not comparing
okay,
Michkov
Patrick
to
Laine,
Hudson at all.
you got to put
But-
Patrick Laine on the first line, and you got to keep him there all year, whether he performs or not, just because he's Patrick Laine. No, no, I don't think that's the way it works, and I don't think that's the way it should work.
It's
So you
different. Now,
think-
you're using an older guy compared to
Yeah,
Mishkov. but
it makes no.
you always say that you bet on skill. So
Shit.
he's got the skill. We all agree he's got the skill, right? And even in
Yes.
bad situations, skill comes out on top. Skill is able to show us the skill they have. They're able to produce regardless of the situation. Why isn't he able to do that right now? It's not because he doesn't have skill.
And he's not performing.
He's not performing, but he has the tool. So what's stopping him right now?
It's
Is it his,
the
his
coach.
teammates,
It's
the coach, the system? He's
No, I don't think
obviously
it's the
not
coach,
happy.
man.
He's obviously not happy where he is.
When Tocchet was in Vancouver the last year, what happened?
What?
JT Miller never hit 90 points. Elias Persson went down the drain. Like at some point, there has to. I'm not saying Michkov has no blame. As a young player, he came in the NHL thinking, I can just do what I did in the KHL with no work, and he's realizing that you have to put in the work. But as a coach, you have to also. It's not. We're not in the 1980s anymore, where you have like even in the 90s where you had Micheltarian telling everybody to screw themselves. Like the landscapes of players have changed, and whether you like it or not, Nick, coaches have to learn how to coddle their players. It is what it is. This is the new generation in
Wait,
any
what?
sport.
Say that again.
Coddle, like yeah, you gotta
No,
say
no,
yes,
no.
good job.
Oh, you have to say yes, good job.
Yeah, that's a new
Okay,
generation.
like that's basically what they did with Matthews and Nylander and gave him $12 million contracts, and let's give everybody you're doing great, yeah. Like, come on, man.
but
This
Matthews
is how you
scored-
ruin entire
but Matthews
generations
scored
of
70
hockey.
goals.
No,
Or 69 goals.
Okay, all right.
I-
We'll
that-
agree to disagree because
Okay, so-
I find
Would you guys buy low on Mishkov now? Because he can obviously be had
100%.
low. Would you guys
after
buy
this
low?
conversation, I don't know if I
100%.
can talk about Michkov anymore.
100%. I'd buy
Stupid
low on
conversation.
Michkov.
All right, guys, let's move on because this could be all day. We could be arguing about this stuff. Who's the real Slim Shady? All right. So who is the real Tristan Jarry here? With Edmonton so far, he's played 3 games, 900 save percentage. 5 games played with 800 save percentages. 2 games with 700 save percentage. So let me just repeat that: 3 games with 900, 5 games with 800, 2 games with 700. To me, it sounds like he's an 800 goalie. But Junior, why don't you talk to me a little bit about Tristan Jarry? Why are we talking about Tristan Jarry again?
Because for a while, everyone thought he was the saving grace of the Edmonton Oilers. And the reality is, not that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but he's 31 years old. He's not gonna change who he is. So this is who you got, and this is exactly how it's playing out. The reason we're talking about him, though, I think, is because Pickard was now sent on waivers to be sent down, which means Ingram is officially your backup, which probably is going to end up being your starter at the rate that Tristan Jarry is going. And I think that is something noteworthy.
Interesting. Vince, Tristan Jarry and Tristan Jarry and Skinner. So I was actually talking to a colleague of mine. His name is Daniel. We'll call him listener Daniel, even though he doesn't listen. And he was telling me, he's a big Pittsburgh fan, by the way. He was telling me best trade that this team has ever done is trade away Tristan Jarry in order to get Jeff Skinner. Not Jeff Skinner, sorry, Stuart Skinner. But like Skinner and Jarry, what are we thinking here? Is Stuart Skinner really actually coming alive in Pittsburgh? Because Pittsburgh's doing really well with him in the Nets lately. And is Jarry just not panning out for Edmonton? Like, what's going on, Vince?
I think both teams is going to be it's going to be a carousel in Nets. When Silovs is winning, he'll stay in Nets. And when Stuart Skinner is winning, he'll stay in Nets. And Edmonton have 3 goalies in Ingram and Pickard and him. So no, I don't think any of these 2 goalies, you can stamp them and say they're starters for their team. They're just way too radical to even
Erratic.
be erratic, to even be too considered fantasy relevant right now. So to me, it's a carousel of goalies for both teams. Whoever is hot will go in the net.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it kind of everybody saw it coming. I don't know. Okay, so I hate doing this because I hate talking about the video freezing.
You saw Junior's face?
I saw Junior's face. It was frozen in a spot where he was just laughing, teeth showing and all, like a good 2 minutes straight. So you guys on YouTube, I really hope you're enjoying this, the Junior freezing aspect of it. As far as the goalies, yeah, let's just freeze that conversation as well. Guys, there was another trade that Pittsburgh did, and it was for Michkov in Columbus. Okay. And I thought it was surprising that they paid so much for Michkov when his value was so in the dumps for so long. But the guy has come into Pittsburgh and he's either has some sort of adrenaline rush going, or he's just found a new lease on life. But he has 8 points in 15 games. He looks engaged in Pittsburgh. Before those 8 points in 15 games with Pittsburgh, he only had 6 points in 29 games with Columbus. So, are we seeing Michkov potentially going to come in and fulfill that pedigree that he had prior to Columbus basically tanking his value all the way to the dumps? Vince?
Listen, I don't want to go back to Michkov, but Michkov is getting ice time that he wasn't getting in Columbus, and he's playing with players. He's not playing with Brinks or Coates. He's playing with decent players, and he's playing on the freaking first power play. Like in Columbus, he was playing 8 minutes, getting scratched. With Pittsburgh, he's playing 14 to 15 minutes. I mean, he had the talent. He always had the talent. It was. I think there's a bit of adrenaline rush and him trying to prove that he belongs in the NHL. That's why it's 8 points in 15 games. But I do believe he could be a very good player in the NHL. It's just opportunity and players you play with.
Yeah, he's not going to be like the next coming of who knows what. Am I frozen? Is that what's funny?
Yeah.
He's not going to
Again,
be
with a
the
nice
next.
smile on your face.
He's never paced for more than 45 points. So
Hmm.
what are we talking about here? Between 40 and 50 point player, which is good, especially in cap leagues at his salary. And he might have that outlier year and stuff, but we're looking more of a streamer than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, he's like on the cusp of turning 25 years old. You're kind of hoping that by 25 years old you're established. Like that's my cutoff, by the way. I've realized that age 24 for me is your last chance to show me that you belong in the NHL and you belong on my fantasy roster. That's my
Hmm.
rule of thumb. Once you hit 25, I'm selling you or I'm dumping you or I'm getting rid of you because to me, you've had enough time to develop. You've had enough time to show your fantasy worth, and by 25, now you are who you are. That's my personal opinion. That's the way
If
I run my teams.
if he holds steady at like 45 point pace till the end of the year, would you grant him that one extra year because he's
That's what
on
I was about
first
to
full
say.
season?
That's what I was about to say. Is that in Columbus he was buried in the depth chart for so long that if I felt like he never got that opportunity to show that he belongs on my fantasy team. Whereas maybe now this sample size in Pittsburgh for the last 35 games or whatever it is that Pittsburgh has left, um, maybe this is going to be what I base that decision making out of. Maybe I grant him another year, like Junior said. Maybe age 25, I'll let him stay on the team, and see what he could do. So just a thought there for some fantasy managers out there on what I would do. Um, moving on to Cole freaking Caufield. 22 of his 31 goals this season have come when the Habs were either tied or trailing by one goal. They call him Mr. Saturday because Saturday nights at the Bell Center he just scores goals. And he just seems to always be in the right place at the right time in the clutch. Always when we need him the most. Cole Caulfield has a chance this year. He's on pace for 49 goals, Vince.
Hmm.
49 goals. Does he hit the 49 goals? Does he not?
Uh, I think he'll hit the 40 goals for sure, and I think he'll be the first Montreal player to do it in a very, very long time.
Well,
I think
Vincent
he's
D'Anfous actually
yeah, yes, we
was the
looked up
Yeah,
last one.
because
last
We looked
yeah,
it up.
Pacioretty hit 39, right?
yeah,
That's right. That's
exactly.
right.
Patrick never
39.
hit the 40, but he's getting some puck luck. We're not gonna lie. Like even the goal he scored on Saturday, I'm pretty sure Suzuki was trying to shoot the puck, whiffed on the shot, and the puck went to Caulfield. So he's getting some puck luck, but on the other side, he's finishing the puck luck he's getting. So and he's scoring goals like it's not like he's scoring goals from the same place. He's just scoring goals from different angles, from the red line, from the circle. Like he's so dynamic, and him and Suzuki have such a good uh, dynamic right now that he looks unstoppable. Uh, do I expect this to continue to the end of the season? No, I think he'll slow down, but I'm not shocked if he's going to get very close to 50. If he doesn't get to, I don't see him stopping. I don't see him getting close to 40. I see him getting closer to 50 than 40. So I mean, as long as Montreal is competing and is there in the middle of the playoff hunt, I just think this year he's on another level. Caulfield this year he turned it up on another level. I don't know if it has anything to do with him not making Team USA, but I mean this is just phenomenal news for Habs fans. So I think he can get closer to the 50. That's for sure.
Junior?
Yeah, I mean, at this pace, how can you not think he's gonna get close to that? who would have thought he would have been a point per game player, you know? And I think that's the most impressive part from Caufield is he was drafted as a lethal shooter. Many thought because he was small and a one-trick pony, he wouldn't work. But you know, obviously living in Montreal, being a Habs fan, we watch him play almost every night, and you see how he's evolved as a player. His stick handling, he's moving, his skating, like he's not just that guy that's waiting to snipe the puck into the net. You know what I mean? He's become an overall player, and he's become pretty much dominant every time his line's on the ice. Whether it's him and Suzuki together as a pair have been so dominant, and they play against the best players of the other team. So uh, guys, he shoots 3 times a game. He gets power play points. He scores goals galore. Last year, he had 37 goals with no Olympic opportunity or whatever to play for, you know? So I think we know he's a 40 goal scorer. He should
Hmm.
be a perennial 40 goal scorer. 50 goals on a good year, like maybe this year has in store for him. Who knows? We'll see. I try to
So
every year I'd make an offer for him, or I inquire about him. This year I put one of my top guns on the table for him and my prospects and Dustin Wolf, and it still wasn't enough. I think in cap leagues this is a no-brainer to go get at 7.9. In
He,
cap
he's
leagues this is huge.
he's for sure in the Tage Thompson discussion when we're talking about cap hits and amount of points they get.
Yeah, contract value. Yeah,
Contract
yeah.
value, like I think he's in that conversation right now.
yeah, so I actually wanted to talk about a little bit since we're talking a little bit about the Habs here, and we just finished talking about Chinnikov. So remember when I told you guys that Chinnikov, like he's about to hit 25 years old. Um, hasn't really had an opportunity to show much, right? And maybe I'll give him another year just to feel it out and see how he does in Pittsburgh. Sorry, Kirby Doc is actually the third person on that line last game with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. And he is also another guy that just turned 25 years old. Is he another guy that we have, because of the amount of injuries before this, he never really had the opportunity to show what he might be capable of? Do I give an extra year to Kirby Doc to see what he could do? Or is he more to the Demko side of like DEFCON 5, just get rid of him and whatever it is, it is?
No, no, I don't think he's them in the Demko area. Uh, but I also don't think he's the problem with Doc is that he is injury prone, but even sometimes he doesn't look engaged in the hockey games. And I mean, the past week with the Montreal Canadiens putting him on the first line, he seemed engaged. I mean, he's going into the corners, getting the pucks, retrieving the puck. He's doing what basically he's supposed to do. Let's get this straight out of the Doc is not a centerman. He's gonna be a winger. Like there's
Yeah,
no
I agree.
center. He cannot
His body
coexist in
won't be able to
center.
handle it.
No, exact. So as a winger, right now he's adapting and he's playing with two guys that have such a good dynamic that I mean anybody you're putting with Caufield Suzuki is succeeding. I mean you had Texier who didn't have a contract, who went on that line and, and was succeeding before he got injured. So with Doc, would I give him a year? Yeah, I would give him another year, but I don't believe next year he'll be with the Habs, in my opinion. Unless
That's what I was gonna.
is he a
Yeah, that's what I
UFA?
was getting to. He's a
RFA.
RFA with arbitration rights. But I mean, what's he gonna ask for? The guy hasn't played and he hasn't produced. So
Like
that's what I was
unless
gonna
they
say.
get
I
him.
think a guy like him, and from fantasy perspective, he needs stability. He goes on a new team,
Mm,
and now I completely lost hope because he's got to
yeah,
redo everything. But like if he stays with the Canadians, if they sign him to like some kind of a 1 year deal, I could give him that one more year. But I think they hoped he would be some kind of what Slavkovsky is becoming,
yeah.
to a certain extent, and I think that's off the table now. I don't think that's his ceiling. Definitely not his ceiling. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he has all the talent in the world. He has the vision, he has the body size, he has everything. It's the amount of injuries that just have derailed his his progression completely.
Hmm.
Like his development has been totally shot by the amount of injuries that he's played, that have plagued him. And I think I would give him one more year. I think next year he's going to get a $4 million prove me deal. like prove it that you
A
could
1 year deal.
stay healthy. Yeah, 1 year deal, prove it, and that's it. Um, RFA, arbitration rates, but again, like Junior said, he doesn't really have much to show for it. So $4 million, I think, is more than enough for him in that time period. If he wants to stay and take a discount for the next 7 years, yeah, no problem. But I don't think he's gonna get to that. I guess sticking with Montreal Canadiens, because this has become a Montreal Canadian centric podcast here. We're hitting an hour, and that's all we're talking about. Sorry, Toronto fans. I mean, we've spoken about you guys enough in the previous episodes. Noah Dobson is tied for 8th in the NHL amongst all D-men with 27 points.
5-on-5 points. Did I forget that?
Yeah, you didn't write that at all. He has 35 points in 55 games. So, guys, I want to ask this to Vince, because I remember that Vince said there's never been a hockey team that has had 2 defensemen with 40 points or more.
No, not 40, 60.
40 points or more, you said. Write it down.
I'm going to go back. I know what you're talking about.
50 or 60? It was a bold
Thank
prediction.
It wasn't 60, because there's never been 2 defensemen in the league that have
Yes,
60
Makar
points
and
from the
Taves.
same team.
Makar and Taves on 1 year. But I said my bold prediction was that Hutson and Dobson were both going to hit 50 points.
Interesting.
That
Okay,
was
so
my bold
that's
prediction.
very doable right now, because Dobson is at 35 points already in 55 games. There's another just under 30 games, 27 games to go. Is he surpassing your expectations so far when he came in to the Montreal Canadiens? Has he made himself relative in cap leagues with a $9 million cap hit? Right, so pretty decent salary there. Is he still relevant in your eyes with that cap hit for leagues that have cap?
I think so. I mean, he's 8th in defenseman scoring. How is that not being relevant? And he's not even getting power play 1 opportunity because of Hutson. So,
Just to clarify, it's 8 on 5v5. On even strength, he's 8 in total in points in total in all the defense.
So he's 18th overall.
Yeah.
He has 35 points in 50 games. If you look at the guys that are in front of him, you have Sider, who's number 1 defenseman, Schaefer, number 1, Sergachev, number 1, McAvoy, number 1.
All of them $9 million or close to $9 million also. Sergachev.
Gottisberg, number 1 defenseman, special on power play. Morrissey, Hiskinen, Chitram, Sanderson, John Carlson, Dahlin, Radish, Quinn Hughes, Hutson, Makar, Bouchard. These are the guys in front of him, all number 1 defensemen. He's not a number 1 defenseman in the Montreal Canadiens. Lane Hutson is offensively. So he overpassed my expectations, especially going on a new team, learning something. But him and Matheson have something going that's really, really good. So
they're not even on the same pairing anymore.
Well, he just changed them recently, didn't he?
Recently, yeah. They put Hutson and Dobson together.
Yeah, because GOALIE came back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But listen, he definitely surpassed my expectations. I mean, if he can give you 45 to 50 points constantly every year, as for what he does, for the minutes he gets on the power play and 5-on-5, I mean, I don't think any of us can complain about that.
Yeah, well, I'll say exactly to your point. It was a new team for him, right? When he started off, he wasn't putting up crazy points at the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
He was still getting acclimated to the team, the city, everything, right? Now he's looking even more comfortable, and he just seems to be like really starting to fit in. I don't know. Maybe I haven't paid as much attention as you, Junior. What do you think about Noah Dobson here?
Yeah, I was hoping he'd be like 45-point guy. He did surpass a little bit my expectations from an offensive standpoint, because you would think Hutson just takes over so much, he gets so many points that like there's less for everybody else, but he finds a way. He's only got 6 power play points, out of the 35. Like we said, he's 8th in amongst all defensemen on 5 or 5 points, so he can manage all that And now, on top of that, what's happening? St. Louis, he'll put him in on certain power play opportunities. He puts him in on 5-on-3, and he's the type of coach with the coaching the style they do is like it'll be from a game to game basis. So if he sees a certain matchup that he doesn't like, he's not afraid to take Hutson off that power play and put a Dobson, or he's not he plays around from game to game. Sometimes he puts Hutson and Dobson together as a pairing. Like it all
Hmm.
depends who he's playing. So and he's playing 22 minutes a night. So he gets opportunity, that's for sure. I'm impressed, honestly. I wasn't expecting him to be this good. We'll see if he can keep it up, but it looks
Yeah, so just
promising.
just to
I, I,
clarify,
I would draft him 9 million in a cap league.
yeah, he's 22 minutes of 22:45, let's say, of ice time average per game. So it's not bad. That's top pairing, top four, anyways, for sure. It's actually the lowest ice time he's had in the last 3 years, and he's pacing 52 points for the year. That's his 82 game pace, which
Hmm.
is very similar to his 2021 year, to his 2022 year. In 2023, he had 73 points. That's a little bit up there. Last year, he only had 45-point pace. So, as far as point paces goes, he's been very consistent, extremely consistent here. 4 points in his last 3 games. Talking about Hutson, this is going to be the last segue, and Jesus, it's already past an hour. Um, but the last segue is Hutson is tied with Cale Makar in points. Like, at this moment, Lane Hutson is at 56 points in the NHL with 55 games played. Cale Makar is 56 points as well with 53 games played. Makar has 15 goals. Hutson has 9. That's not the place where Hutson is necessarily the higher, but what do we like? What are our expectations of Hutson moving forward here?
I don't know why we keep on talking about Hudson. I mean, the kid has proved himself that he can be a top five defenseman offensively. Like I don't know why and if people are still doubting that, I don't think people are watching things, watching Hudson properly. Like he is an offensive dynamic defenseman. He's unbelievable when he has the puck, and and this is not like I wouldn't compare him to Kilmakar. To me, Kilmakar is from another planet just because of what he does all over the ice and what he does in his all around game. But I mean, we keep on having this discussion for Hudson. And I think at one point we just have to stop. He's the top five point getting defenseman, and it's just that simple. Now, if you want to start a conversation of is he better than McCart, then I hang up with you and I go strolling around because I don't think he's better than McCart. But he's top five. I mean, Warinsky has 60 points in 50 games. He's leading on Bouchard, who remember at the beginning of the year we were all complaining about Bouchard. Well, he's got 60 points in 56 games. So Hudson's there. Hudson's in the elite point getting defenseman. It's just that simple. And if people if people still question that, then in my opinion, they shouldn't be watching hockey.
If he starts hitting the 90, 95 points like Makar can do, maybe there's a conversation to be had. But what one thing's for sure is that he's definitely, I'll say Makar is that number one tier. Hutson has definitely solidified his spot in the number two tier with the Quinn
Yeah, for
Hughes, the
sure.
Zach Werenskis, and stuff like that. And the one thing that like put him, early on in the year when we were talking about Jake Sanderson, and we would say like the one thing that Hutson is lacking is his goal scoring. He doesn't score enough for fantasy leagues because most leagues count for goals for more, right? This year he's at 9 goals. He's doubled his total from last year almost. So if he can keep that up consistently, then he's leaving Sanderson in the dust until Sanderson shows that he can hit almost a point per game. So yeah, definitely.
Well, for fantasy, we love this points only defenseman, right? So
And he's got a good contract, man. Imagine
He's
being
got
a
a good
point per game
contract.
defenseman at what is he making? 9 million next year?
9 million, yeah.
Come on.
The problem is the biggest thing people hate on Hutson is that they say that everybody that's ahead of him all play in every aspect of the game. They play shorthanded, they play power play, they play that. And I was one of those. But my argument to you is, your shorthanded defensemen, you need them to be 6 foot something because you need them to take as much ice as possible on the ice.
That's
So
just not
you
who he
can't.
is.
No, exactly. Like you can't now. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't be that player. I mean, but it's ridiculous that because he doesn't play shorthanded, he's not in tier 2 defenseman. It makes no sense. And like Junior said, to me, Makar is just out of this world. He's in that tier by himself. But in the second tier with the Warinskis, the Quinn Hughes.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait, order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
The Bouchards, Hutson definitely has planted himself in that tier right now.
All
And
right,
just
guys.
because you play shorthanded, it doesn't mean you're actually good at it.
Well, Makar is.
No. Again, Makar is a different level. Okay. But Bouchard plays penalty kill. Okay.
Yeah. I think he plays penalty because he's 6'6" or something.
Like this, he plays.
He just lies down.
Nick, what's happening with this?
I put the end music so you can stop talking so we can actually get to the next part. You know, our DraftKings promo here.
Are you gonna pause the damn thing?
No, I don't want to pause it. Leave it. I'm the producer here today. All right, guys. Well, Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. Anything can happen during the Super Bowl, and DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash when your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. While other sportsbooks don't offer injury protection, DraftKings covers the entire first half, even the second quarter. And early exit works on live bets too. Pre-game or in-game, DraftKings has you covered. Talking about the Super Bowl, the Raiders did hire Clint Kubiak to be the next head coach, and I expect him in this game to
Not
absolutely...
officially, Nick. They're not allowed until the Super Bowl is done.
Yeah. Listen to me. I'm gonna call our friends over at Bush League Huddle podcast, and they'll confirm my take here. But I think Kubiak is absolutely going to destroy that that New England defense completely. So I'm betting the over on the Seattle side here. Sorry, listener Tony. New to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code XXX. That's code XXX?
No, THPN. It was
Are you sure? Because
yes. I saw there was a chat going on. It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Okay, because
not on our end for once.
That stands for something totally not football related. So that's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8. Stop laughing. 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Best must win in order to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
That Nick affectionately calls Pebble, but no one else likes it. Partial breakaway listener.
Yes, applause is in order for the first time since my 7-week stay at the top of the standings. We have a member of the partial breakaway family who finished first this week in amount of points earned this period, and that is co-host Nick. Congratulations to you and your Hades team. Listener Umbi, second place. I mean, the games are not finished yet. The Anaheim Ducks are still playing the Vegas Golden Knights. They're in the third period as we speak, or end of the second period. But I don't foresee listener Umbi getting enough points to catch up to Hades. So let's look at your team, Nick. Tell us, what was your strategy last week? And what was your strategy? And it seems to have paid off.
Well, I mean, pretty much we had mentioned the strategy during the last episode, but I'll repeat it here since Junior wants to know. I have Celebrini, I think, is a staple on this team, and the guy just keeps performing. I went with Tage Thompson because I traded him away, so I knew he was going to perform really well the moment I did that. Josh Doan has been doing very well for Buffalo. He really looks like he's fit in.
Nick, that's for this week?
Oh, that's this week. Sorry. Celebrini, Fantilli, Morgan Geeky. Actually,
he doesn't even know who he had.
Okay, no, because I didn't press the right thing. He took me off guard here. Usually he talks about the team.
But it was yours. That's why I figured.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's getting late, right? We're past an hour and 15 minutes now, so yeah, we're getting there. So I had Celebrini. He's a staple on my team, like I mentioned, right? I have him even this week, so I'll preview this week's team there. I had Adam Fantilli going in. Geeky and Arvidsson and Pasta. So I really put a lot of eggs in the Boston basket. A lot of it has to do that Boston, first of all, has been performing really well. They also had 4 games playing this week. I went in with Michkov just to prove Vince that I'm not a hater. Darren Radish has just been doing absolutely phenomenal. He had another few goals. I'm trying to look back 7 days here. He had 3 goals and 3 assists in the 3 games that he played last week. I know he wasn't a 4-game guy, but he still put up 3 goals and 3 assists in 3 games. Matthew Schaefer, 2 goals and 1 assist in 4 games. Morgan Geeky, by the way, 4 goals and 2 assists in 4 games. Like, this is basically what won me the week. And Sorokin got a shutout, and he had 2 wins.
So I like that you pointed out that Darren Radish only played 3 games because he was your best player of the week. Only played 3 games. Your second best player of the week
Celebrini.
was Celebrini, who also only played 3 games.
That's right.
So
One goal,
it
four
doesn't.
assists.
I mean, the strength of schedule might play more of an important role when picking weekly teams than maybe the amount of games you play. Okay, so let's talk about this week. This week is the final week, by the way, before the Olympic
Hmm.
freeze, if you will. So before the Olympic break, there are a few teams playing 3 games. Let me get to it right away. So the Buffalo Sabres are playing games, the Florida Panthers, the Nashville Predators, the New York Islanders, the Ottawa Senators, Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals. Am I frozen? Is that what's funny?
Yes, your face right now is priceless.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a solution. This out. Check this out. It should work. Okay, and then the teams you might want to stay away from, you probably should stay away from, are the Anaheim Ducks, Boston Bruins, and New York Rangers because they are the 3 teams that only play 1 game before the break. Whew. All right. So if you want to talk about the strength of schedule, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. All right. So the strength of schedule won't be long here. Here we go. I'm gonna freeze now, so don't look at us on YouTube.
Just make sure you don't do a
All
funny
right.
face while you freeze.
Okay, so the best strength of schedule, according to this daily face-off, by the way, is the New York Rangers who play the Carolina Hurricanes, which obviously we're going to stay away from because they only play 1 game. But then the Vancouver Canucks. My apologies, guys. I'm reading this backwards. They have the hardest schedule. The easiest schedule is the Anaheim Ducks, who play 1 game, and it's against Seattle. We're not going to stay away from them. I like Chicago. They only play 2 games this week, but they do play against San Jose and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like Chicago this week because, A, they don't have a lot of players going to the Olympics, so they're not already on vacation. Uh, the San Jose Sharks and Columbus Blue Jackets allow a lot of goals, so I'm looking for high-scoring games there. The Edmonton Oilers also have an easy schedule: New Jersey Devils, Colorado Avalanche, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Guys, Vince, I'll throw it off to you. What's your strategy this week? It's a bit messed up because there's not a lot of teams that play 3 games. There's many teams that play 2. So what are you thinking heading into this week before the break?
You know what? I'm not thinking anymore. I'm just dressing anybody I want. No, I went with. I mean, I have to go off the board a bit because to catch up, like Nick and Umbi almost had almost the same players, so you got to go a bit off the board to try to catch up. So, I mean, I dressed Kaprizov, Hughes, Makar, Spencer Knight, because like you said, Chicago I feel has 2 games, but 2 easy games that he can play in. Bedard, Nazar, and then I slipped in Celebrini and Eklund just to, with their contracts that they had. So, I mean, it's tough. It's especially in this league when you're down, it's tough to catch up to the guys at the top, especially when they just keep on getting. It seems like they haven't had one bad week, like Vito and all those guys. It's crazy.
Nick, how
Yeah,
about you? I mean, you said half your team earlier, but you want to go through that again, or?
yeah, I do actually. So on my Hades team, which was the biggest winner I had last week, I went with Celebrini again because it's just Celebrini. Tage Thompson, Josh Stone because again I think that Josh Stone has been doing very well. I went with a Evgeny Malkin. I feel like he since he's come back, he's really showing a lot more this season than I expected. I Florida's playing 3 times this week, so I picked all guys that are playing 3 times basically, because it's a shorter week this week. So keep that in mind. It's right before the Olympics. Um, so Sam Reinhart, I picked Alex Tuck, I picked Lane Hutson, Matthew Schaefer, and Philip Gustafson for my Hades team.
Interesting. And so I overthought it a bit this week, but I like teams like the Ottawa Senators, the Buffalo Sabres. They're playing 3 games, but because they're teams that can afford to go on break early, if you know what I mean, from a mental standpoint. They're teams that are in the hunt for a playoff spot that either need to win or need to fend off anybody coming after them. So I wasn't afraid to go after their players like Brady. Like I went heavy on Ottawa on one team. I think I took Brady Kachuk. Um, hold on a second here. Where am I? Yeah, Jake Batherson, Brady Kachuk, and like you, Nick, I touched on the Buffalo Sabres, Tage Thompson, Josh Doan, Alex Tuck. Alex Tuck, great contract for leagues like this.
Yeah.
I like Connor Bedard. Matthew Schaefer's playing 3 games, so it's hard to not to go with him. And this is the team I took Vladar in. I think Vladar can have a solid week before the break. And then I'm looking to Vegas they have no choice to start turning it around. They're losing again tonight. So I took Jack Eichel, even though the Olympics are around the corner. I think Vegas really needs to start winning games. So I'm taking a chance with Jack Eichel and Dorofeyev on my other team. And Alex DeBrincat, Kirill Marchenko, guys that are not going to the Olympics, but that score goals. So that's the avenue I went. And I added Stuart Skinner, by the way. So 2 goalies that you might not want to draft in year-long leagues, but in leagues like this, they can pan out, especially with their contracts. Any last words before we end this bad boy? This really long bad boy?
No, I'm actually excited for the Olympics.
I think we should do a draft.
Ooh. Fantasy Lens next week?
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe.
down.
Yeah, I think is next week too late or?
No, because they don't start. The men's hockey doesn't start right away. So next Wednesday would be the 11th. We should be good. Actually, our draft is actually on the Sunday, so we're good.
Okay, very nice. All right,
We're good.
You have one for us, Vince, or? I'm
Yes,
good
I
to end
do.
the show.
Are you ready?
Damn.
Nick,
Yeah.
what kind of tree fits in your hand? A palm
I got
tree.
it. A palm tree.
Yeah. Punchline ruined by Junior. All right, guys. Thank you. If you stayed this long, please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
We need what? 6 more subscribers for Nick to go streaking. Come on, boys.
Hold on, I have one more burner account to do.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
We'll see you in the midweek episode. Take care,
everybody.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.